Marisa, is there any official reaction from South Africa regarding the question raised by U.S. legislator John James?
So not so much from John James, but what we did see is the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Naledi Pandor. She actually made a statement a few days ago towards the comments made by Reddy Hlabi and Chris Maroleng, and she said that actually it is only official government delegates that should be commenting on South African affairs and not anyone outside of that circle. And of course, democracy doesn't work that way. These people are part of civil society. They are well within their rights to comment on South Africa and the direction in which it is going. So I don't think that Minister Pandor's comments have been well received. But nonetheless, this is what they have stated so far. And I think that the government would be unhappy with this because the ANC is the main political party, but it's very easy to conflate the ANC with the government and then also with the state. So it won't be very happy that there's not a unified message going out.
A number of South Africans, as you heard, spoke at the congressional hearing saying the position of the South African government doesn't necessarily reflect that of the South African people, but is there consensus on that?
I wouldn't say that there's consensus because, South Africa is a society that's made up of many different groups. But again, going back to what I just said, that it's very...
Marisa?
So I wouldn't say that it's easy to reach consensus, but I think that there is growing frustration among South Africans who don't feel represented by the ANC and are worried by the ANC's foreign relations stance and what this means for the country, especially for things like currency risk and investment risk.
Marisa, quickly, what's at stake here if the relationship between the United States and South Africa continue to deteriorate?
Well, the US is one of South Africa's largest trade partners next to China. So it's really one of the partners that South Africa does have to tread carefully. But I think equally the US also has to tread carefully because South Africa is really its gateway into the rest of Africa. I think that we have seen the US soften towards South Africa and to other African states. I think that they have realized that those African governments that are abstaining in the UN General Assembly regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflict, this is not a vote of support for Russia. It's just choosing to abstain. It is choosing to remain neutral. So I think that relations are heading towards a better point than they were at the beginning of this year. But I do think that both sides do need to be very, very careful in how they communicate with each other because South Africa needs the US as a trade partner, but the US would also be very careful not to upset South Africa as the most advanced economy in Africa.